So I've been doing some serious soul searching lately, and I have to admit, life has been quite the whirlwind. Maybe you felt it too, the constant list of demands, the unending stream of notifications, the pressure to juggle a million things at the same time. It's left me questioning, is this really how it's meant to be? And I know you've probably wondered the same. That's why I decided to make a video in which I want to discuss the ugly truth about modern life. Because we all know the feeling of exhaustion, the feeling of being stretched too thin, the struggle to find genuine connections or a sense of purpose. In this video, I'm laying it all out. But first, please make sure to hit that subscribe button, as it would just really help me to grow this channel. Alright, let's get into it. Part 1. The connectivity paradox. In a world where connectivity should make us feel closer, we're paradoxically feeling more isolated than ever before. Almost everyone seems to be bombarded with information, endless choices, with a pressure to always be on. It's as if we're trapped in this vortex of notifications, social media, and responsibilities that never let us catch our breath. But here's what's really crazy. We've bought into it ourselves. We've embraced this chaotic lifestyle as if it's the norm, and subsequently we're in this constant loop of being busy, and it's numbing our minds and our souls. We're told that more is better, more gadgets, more achievements, more everything, and yet we're learning the hard way that more doesn't equal fulfillment. We've traded substance for quantity, and it's like drinking salt water. The more we drink, the thirstier we get. We're hustling hard, yet that sense of fulfillment we crave seems to keep slipping through our fingers. If you pay attention, you can see how people's minds are racing, how their bodies look fatigued, and how their souls are yearning for a sense of purpose that most of us just can't seem to pin down. It's a scam. And so I do believe that there is an antidote, and it's the wake-up call that, quite frankly, nobody is willing to tell you, which is slowing down is not a sin. In fact, it's vital. We're so absorbed with chasing success, whatever the hell that even means, that we're missing out on the present. Thusly, we're willing to sacrifice our today for some arbitrary tomorrow. And the irony is that by doing so, we're guaranteeing that we won't ever fully arrive at that future we're chasing. And so I think it's time to reclaim our focus and to channel our energy into what truly matters to us. Because if you're like me, then you know how it feels to be scattered all over the place sometimes, multitasking your way into exhaustion. Now, luckily, I already learned a long time ago that multitasking is not really the best way to move a project forward. But even so, I still do even have my moments where I feel like chasing a shiny opportunity that comes my way because of the fear of missing out if I don't. But here's the thing, by spreading ourselves too thin, we're diluting our impact. We're stretching our focus so wide that it's becoming shallow, and deep down, we know it's not fulfilling. You know it, I know it. Society is feeding us this idea that success is all about the exterior. It's painted this picture of success that's based on all these vain external metrics: the car you drive, the house you own, the followers you have. And it happened to me too, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes when I see that I lost followers, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing this for? But then I also realize that success is any of these superficial metrics. I mean, sure, it would be nice to own a supercar someday, and I absolutely aspire to get one in a not too distant future, but that's not what it's all about. Real success to me is about defining my own path, understanding my values, and aligning my actions with my true self. For me, it's about building a life that's rich in experiences, in relationships, and a sense of purpose that can't be measured by any societal standard. So what's the solution? How do we fix this mess? Well, it all starts with a conscious choice. Deciding to step off the conveyor belt of modern life and reclaim what's rightfully ours. Our time, our energy, our sanity. It's about setting boundaries, being able to say no to what doesn't serve you, and pouring our efforts into things that truly set our souls on fire. Like, the more I grow, the more I understand that less truly is more. That's why I'm so obsessed with decluttering, not just my physical space, but my mental landscape as well. I just want to curate a life that's intentional as much as it possibly can be, so that every moment counts. Because you don't want to add more to an already overloaded plate. Instead, you want to make smart choices that align with your truest aspirations. And I guess that is the paradox that all of us are dealing with to some degree. Most of us think that the faster we go, the faster we get there, and we fail to realize that it's usually by slowing down that we can actually speed things up. Because you can go really fast, but if you're going really fast in the wrong direction, you have a really long way to walk back as well. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how do I set these boundaries without feeling like I'm missing out? The fear of missing out, the one thing that everybody is dealing with. And that's a great question, bro. This is where the art of saying no comes into play. And I really do believe it's an art. Remember, saying no to one thing means saying yes to something that does resonate more with your goals, with your aspirations. You know, Steve Jobs once said, innovation is saying no to 1,000 things. And this doesn't apply to just products, it also applies to everything else as well. It's about crafting a life that's designed by your choices and not by the noise around you. Speaking of noise, I want to go back to the first part of this video title, which is the overload and exhausted part. So let's talk about information overload for a second, as this is something I get asked quite frequently about whenever I'm giving an in-company training to any of my clients. I think it's a pretty accurate assessment to say that at least 90% of today's generation feels to some degree some level of overwhelm and exhaustion. Like all of us, we're constantly bombarded with data from every direction, with information from every direction. So if we think about it, it's not a surprise at all that we get so lost and so easily in this digital abyss. But this brings me back to why creating this mental sanctuary is so crucial. Why decluttering your mind by carefully and consciously choosing what information you let in is absolutely necessary in my opinion. A couple of years back, I made myself the conscious choice as well to overhaul my approach to social media, among others. I strongly felt the urge to shift from being a passive consumer to an active creator. So I took a significant step. I greatly reduced my intake of news and unfollowed virtually anybody whose content didn't resonate or contribute to my growth. Because let's face it, most of us, from the moment we wake up, we're already fighting a digital avalanche of buzzing notifications, messages, email alerts. And by giving into them first thing in the morning, you've already given away the first moments of your day, of those precious moments when your mind is still fresh and malleable to the outside world. Not a great start, is it? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you to ditch technology altogether, but we've got to be the masters of our gadgets and not their slaves. Here are some practical tips that you can start applying immediately to turn your life around. For the next 21 days, I want you to start your morning with a technology detox. Give yourself an hour at least of uninterrupted you time. Start engaging in activities that set a positive tone for the day. I really don't care what it is. It could be exercising, meditating, journaling, or simply reading a book. Because by doing this, you're asserting control over your day rather than letting it control you. Secondly, I want you to put your phone on do not disturb mode. Allow yourself dedicated blocks of time throughout the day where you're not at the mercy of your constant pings and dings. This will significantly improve your focus and productivity. I personally have my phone on don't disturb mode 24/7, with the exception of phone calls in case something's really urgent. Thirdly, stop multitasking. Stop it immediately. I know it sounds counterintuitive, especially in today's fast-paced world, but studies have shown that multitasking actually decreases your efficiency and performance. Our brains are simply not capable of fully focusing on two tasks at once. It just rapidly switches between them, which means you're essentially depleting your mental energy much faster. So here is the counterintuitive advice. Monotasking. Focus on one task at a time. Give it your undivided attention and watch your efficiency skyrocket. Remember, bro, life isn't meant to be this never-ending race against time. It's about savoring the moments, making deliberate choices, and carving out space for what truly matters to us. And by taking these steps I just gave you, you're not just simplifying your life, you're regaining control over it. And it's not easy, I get it. I'm fully aware of the fact that our phones have become extensions of ourselves and that it's easy to feel lost without them. But let's not kid ourselves. It's not like we're powerless here. You absolutely have the authority to set designated tech-free zones and times whenever you want. In a world that is constantly trying to suck you in with all her distractions, being intentional about your time and energy is an act of rebellion. My challenge to you, bro. Be more intentional. When you're eating, engage with your food, not your screen. When you're with your loved ones, be present, not distracted. Like, really learn to rise above the noise and understand by letting go of the trivial, you create space for the essential. In short, simplify to amplify. Stay savage.